Hey, James Eagleman at EagleBallistics. Let's talk a little bit about RPMs, and then we're going to talk about gyroscopic stability. So in EagleBallistics app, I'm going to go to settings. Now, I just started building this gun profile. By the way, we want to be in advanced mode, not basic mode. And the beauty of the EB app is I can pretty much build the gun before I build the gun. In other words, I can decide what barrel twist I want based on the bullet that I'm shooting and the RPMs of velocity and gyroscopic stability. So for instance, I already selected a bullet. I went to the library, Hornady ELD match, 140 grain, and it dropped in the nominal ballistic coefficient that they provide, and I used chronograph velocity. So you'll notice that in the spin rate, it's saying we're at 250,000 RPMs, and my gyroscopic stability is 1.573. Now what's highlighted in yellow? Yellow means it did not meet my standard. My standard is 1.6. That does not mean it's bad. 1.5 is a marginal stability that pretty much will get you out to 1,000 yards easy with accuracy. But let's just say that I'm building a gun and I'm like, well, maybe I don't want an 8.5 twist. I want an 8 twist. Well, type in an 8 twist, and you can now see that our stability factor is 1.7, and we got 266,000 RPMs. So that's why most Creedmoors are 8 twists. Well, what happens if I did a 7.5 twist? I wanted a little bit more stability to make it through that transonic, supersonic, bullet transitions, subsonic. You can now see that I have a 2 stability factor, which is actually excellent, but you'll notice that I'm at 284,000 RPMs. One thing you want to keep in mind if you're a hunter is we don't want bullet failure on impact on an animal. The objective is to keep the RPMs lower than 300,000 RPMs for a lead core copper jacket bullet. Because what can happen is if we break 300,000 RPMs, even though we're getting a really high stability factor, that the bullet could malfunction on impact on the animal, which means the lead core and the copper can start to slip internally, and when the bullet hits the animal, it actually peels away really fast. So we don't want that. We want the lead core and the copper jacket to hold together while it's spinning, and then when it hits the animal, you get 3 to 5 inches of penetration. You get the mushroom on the front of the bullet in frontal hydraulic pressure, which causes a large temporary wound cavity as it passes through the animal's thoracic cavity, and then of course it shrinks down to a permanent wound cavity. So to do that, we want the bullet to hold together and not have bullet failure by staying under 300,000. So look what happens if I make it a 7 twist. You'll notice that the app turned yellow and it says, hey, you probably need to rethink this. Because you're at 304,000 revolutions per minute, you have a good possibility of the bullet not functioning properly on the animal when it hits the animal. So let's go back up and set this at 8 twists, which generally is what a Creedmoor is. So again, if you're at least a 1.6 or higher stability factor and you're under 280,000 RPMs, you're sitting pretty good for long range hunting. Hopefully this makes sense. Hopefully you understand it. Again, EagleBallistics will turn a color yellow on one of these parameters if something doesn't meet what we call my criteria, all right? Break 300,000 or you're less than 1.6 stability. Hopefully this makes sense. You guys enjoy it. Have fun with the app. Have a good day.